Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day with the fan on in the window. It sounds loud, but I've got surprisingly good hearing, so I don't know. Hopefully it's not too loud. My mic there seems to be pretty good at not picking it up, but it picks up the fan of the laptop real good. Door cracked open, fan on, fans, plural, out there. It's going to be hot and humid in this area. Oh joy. Hopefully it's at least livable where you are. After all, this is the coolest summer we're going to have. Yay. Still though, thumbs up, wanted to talk about a few things because, you know, if I can't get stuff out of my system, then my brain doesn't work. And since I don't have anyone IRL to talk about stuff with, you know, I could call my sister, such like that. But, I mean, just immediate without having to do much stuff, no, there's not really anybody. So thank you for being there. It is appreciated. I did want to talk about and show off some other things that I am putting away and have put away. Actually, I'm dragging these out. Oh, I'm running out of room. But there's various things. First off, one of the things that happened in my life is my wife and I, she really wanted to go into some form of belief system. And since I'm more free-flowing and stuff, I hadn't had any. But we were baptized into the Church of the Latter-day Saints. And so, which used to be called Mormons, and apparently the official term is now Saint. But my wife was gifted the Holy Trinity among the Mormon types, with the Holy Bible, with Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price from the Church of Jesus Christ, the Latter-day Saints, and of course the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and another copy of the Pearl of Great Price. How about that? There's two copies of the Pearl of Great Price. Technically, I am still a Mormon. I have not, of course, told them I don't want to be one, and, well, largely because it's just lazy. And so I'm still on the books. So, yay. I just thought I'd show that this was something that was gifted to my wife. These are books that were from somebody else. They have their name embossed on them. Apparently, I think they had passed away, and so these were gifted to my wife, and I still have them. Remember, if you watched yesterday, I talked about how much stuff is too much stuff. What should I keep? What should I not? What matters? What doesn't? Does this matter? Should I keep it? It was my wife's. She never used them. They just went into a corner. How much stuff is too much stuff? I guess I could go to the church and say, these were from my wife, and with my various mental conditions, I really can't sit down and read. So I will pass them on to the church. That's better than just throwing them away. I also... a bit of gunk there caught in my throat. I also wanted to show off some other pictures. I've shown this one before, but I'm showing it again. This was, you want to talk about looking different? This was me when I was a child. Well, not a child, in high school. It's down so low because I'm using the bottom of the table to hold the bottom from curling. But this was me back in high school. This is a character that I and a friend had made up called Safari Bob, with this old big fluffy jacket thing, and we made up a cheap fake gun, and there was that pith helmet. And the only reason I'm really showing this off is because, number one, it's huge. Number two, holy smokes, I was young. And number three, it's just how much stuff is too much stuff. I don't look at pictures. Should I keep this? Where do I keep it? If I do keep it, I'm not going to look at it, but I don't really want to throw it away. And then I wanted to show some other pictures. Some of the, well, and also I was looking through the pictures and I found something crazy. Apparently my mother must have saved this, and then my wife must have saved it. This is actually a poster for one of the plays I was in back when I was in high school. So how about that? What am I doing with an old poster? Should I keep it? How much stuff is too much stuff? There's also, and I wanted to show these, my mother definitely kept these, because these are pictures of, like, I barely even recognize myself. This was me, 19 to 22, can't remember exactly when it was done, when I was going into, or was in, or I was in, or I wouldn't have had the uniform. I must have graduated from basic training, holy smokes. I barely look like myself, but you want to talk about barely looking like myself. Here's some more pictures, like another Safari Bob artistic photo. How about that? And he actually had a sound effect, Safari, just a mispronunciation of Safari. And then another, just a smaller one of the big one. So yay, but you can barely tell that's me just because of all the baby fat and all that. But you want to talk about barely looking like me. This was a long time ago. That I had a lot more weight on me, and while I'm trying to tilt my head in the picture so you can see them kind of the same. That was me and my younger family and my wife. Is she on oxygen in this one? This one, she might not have worn it. I hate the lights on there. It's the monitor and stuff you can see. That's the far monitor of my PlayStation. But that's my younger family. And then this one that I've got, I look at it and it doesn't even look like me. This looks like another person entirely. I'm going to get rid of this in the background. Hopefully it'll be less shiny. But this is a picture when we only had when our daughter was just born. She was not on oxygen, hadn't had surgeries yet. That's her child by a previous relationship, which I consider my oldest. And then of course, me. I don't look like me to me at all. Even the facial structure seems different. And yet, that is a me. I'll tilt over that way. Is that me? It must be. So I just wanted to show off some pictures because they're going into storage. These are pictures that, yes, indeed, I am keeping. But there's pictures that I'm also giving to my sister-in-law. I'm going to tug obsessively on my shirt for a moment here. My apologies. Now I'll bring the spotlight back because I've got just things up there and such, because yesterday did not get much done. I've mentioned this before, I also want to, I'm having trouble staying centered and I don't know where the center is. So my apologies on my continuously being neurotic about this, because this is how I tell. And my arm's doing okay today, so that's good. But let's see, what else was I talking about? Oh, yes. I went walkies. It was hot. I didn't get much done. What I did do was play the game Halls of Torment, which was gifted to me by someone on Facebook, and that's good. I had to update the drivers on the laptop. It needed Vulkan drivers. And it was like, what? And so I was able to go onto the NVIDIA site, locate my laptop's graphic series inside the list, the drop-down list, which is under a different name, but using the 960M on the part and the entire list of stuff about the internal graphics card on the laptop, I was able to figure out that probably meant GeForce 900 series 900 M series notebook. It's not a notebook, but updated the graphics card and it was rough. It would lock up. Eventually, after the process of updating the card, I had to turn the computer off. It was that unresponsive. Nothing would work. In fact, just tapping the power button did nothing. I had to hold it down until it shut off. And then it's been working great. And everything, well, the one thing that needs Vulkan, I think there's another game too, I'm not sure. I have to go through my games list, but point being, now it works great. And that's a very, very good thing. Tug obsessively on my shirt now, except on the sides instead of the front. Thumbs up. So yeah, and then I went walkies all the way up to Walmart and back, and that's a good thing. I need to buy some cat dirt today, and oh boy, she has been driving me nuts with this door. For years now, she's been fine. But all of a sudden, that door, okay, and still though, she's a kitty, I love her, and while it drives me crazy, in I love you, you're driving me crazy kind of way, not in a, I need to beat her with a stick or anything like that, which I wouldn't do. She's a kitty and I'm an absolute cat person, so thumbs up on that. Past that, checking my time, past that, I have just tried to think of things and get stuff clear in my head on my settings and such. When, excuse me. Excuse me. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about first real quick. There's a guy, he does streaming under Brady Sucks Haha, and it's a really weird name for his YouTube stuff, but he's like Brady something or other, and it's really sad for him. I've mentioned that my life sucks. My life does suck, but I'm still alive. My wife's life sucked, and then she died at 41. So that sucks. I would say objectively worse than my life. Brady Sucks is a younger fellow. He and his wife have been doing a lot of stuff. She was diagnosed with cancer. And part of the video of which I'm going to talk about, part of that had an addendum, the latest update, that when I watched it was 3 hours old, the whole video, talking about how his wife had surgery to remove the cancer, and because of that had a double mastectomy, they cut everything off, with reconstructive surgery, and they had just finished surgery. Now, the video was like a week old or so, I think, maybe, or a day, or maybe even that day, I don't know. But I'd say her life may have been great up to this point, but that kind of makes up for lost time. Everybody's life sucks. I mean, I don't think I'm the only person whose life sucks. I wouldn't wish my life on anybody else's, not even my worst enemy. But other people have had it worse. They are gone. After all, there was Total Biscuit over in the UK. He's dead, died of cancer. He was younger, a lot younger than me. Objectively, I'd say, even though his life was good up to that point, he's dead. I'd say my life is objectively better than his right now. By default. So, anyway though, on the one thing he does, the one thing that really made his channel blow up apparently, is there's a Reddit thing called Spubby, and where it's you take, generally it's gotten bigger, the parameters, but it's largely like Subway, Eat Fresh is the trademark thing. Spubby is they go Subway, Eef, Freef, and it's in the same text, so it looks like that. And so some of the things that he's reading out, they're just absolute gibberish. Because we're like Red Lobster, it's like Rube Lube, E Freef, Frongadonga. And don't think I'm making too much fun when I just said what I just did. There was like Taco Baco, Tinkle, outside the Binkle. It's gibberish in a lot of cases. And like I say, it is also expanded though, in that people are able to do other goofy things. But he laughs when he's doing these things. And I laugh just because of the things he's saying, and then laugh more when he's laughing. He has a good laugh. So yeah, I just laughing out loud when it's just utter gibberish being uttered by him for like 5 or 10 seconds. So look up Spubby and Brady Sucks. I think it's like Brady Sucks haha for his YouTube channel. So, but yeah, past that, I've just been trying to think about right now and remembering some things, refining some things, and trying to be thinking of new things as best I can. Hence the whole Jay Claren thing and his necropolis that the nation and city that he lives in used to be. So I am trying. One of the things I wanted to try and remember and refresh for myself and everyone else is I was thinking about the department last night. Now, one of the problems with trying to talk about this stuff is there are cosmic horrors in this setting. They are cosmic horrors above even their Lovecraftian horrors are here. These are beings that are here. But you can, as a Gokura, one of us in the endlessly repeating and calving and spawning universes of the multiverse, you can become an adherent to an aspect and one of the lower beings, like the Lovecraftian types. You can become an adherent of them. One of the biggest ones for this world in the setting is Kadiron. Kadiron, imagine like a gigantic worm constantly chewing its way through the multiverse. That's Kadiron. Perfect for our world because it's mindless eating, endless consumption, capitalism writ large. Well, if you want to be big in business in our world, you have to be an adherent of Kadiron. So, there are times when people who are adherents of Kadiron, who are in charge of big financial things, or they're in business, or they're working in government, that you have to do just regular normal things, or you're going to be called out and gotten rid of. So you just do normal stuff. They're not evil organizations. These are organizations run by people that we would call evil. And so when a new expansion was needed, it was an adherent of Kadiron that was in charge of that. They farmed out various things, and I'll get to that, like they had to find land. The land that was the cheapest for government purchase was an area of poisoned land where bad things happened and people didn't like to go. This was during a time of peak government distrust and hatred. When I say farmed out, they went and got the use of architects and engineers and construction firms, of which each one was run by an adherent of Kadiron. Not all businesses are. It is a relatively small number, but it just so happened that each company was. And you have unconscious biases that affect everything you do, even if you don't mean to. And because all the way from the top to the bottom, it was adherents of Kadiron that did stuff and had unconscious biases towards what they did, the department building, the Department of Government Resources, which was the consolidation of all government resources for a 7-county area, was an accidentally created existential horror. No one wanted to make it. Nobody knew it was being created. It was a bunch of the right people at the right place at the right time. Or the wrong people at the right place at the right time. And when the building was opened up, the mechanism started to run. It is not alive. It is a machine. And I've talked before about a Dunning field. On the quantum level where it operates, every single person, we're sending out sparks of connection. There are no receptors on our reality, nor other types of transmitters, but we have receptors and transmitters. We're sending signals out to nothing, and there's nothing sending signals back. The department operates just as a machine on that level, trying to make connections with everybody else it's sparking. When you know of the department as just an abstract, or you don't know of it, there is no connection. Once you know of it as a concrete place, that connection is made. You are now always connected with the department, and it needs a clear signal. There is always testing being done on the line. These are all analogies. And so, when you think of certain thoughts, that causes interference on the line. Normal thoughts, no problem. You start to think of the department, that causes interference. The more you think of bad things about it, the greater the interference. And if it passes a certain threshold, you get the Dunning field. The Dunning field is just, that's the only thing I can call it, that's the only thing I can use to describe it, as part of Dunning-Kruger. It is a field that as you approach the department, the field is stronger and stronger since it's focused on that place, but it pushes a lot of your brain waves down closer to a dream-like state, where you are when you're dreaming. And because of this, along with other smaller effects that push upon you, you accept things. When you're dreaming, the weirdest things can happen and you have dream logic. It doesn't bother you, it makes sense in the dream. Same thing. You can have the weirdest stuff happen here and it's dream logic. It just makes sense, even though of course it doesn't. Part of that too is you are now unable to make critical decisions. You cannot have any critical thought. It's impossible. You cannot have good judgment. It's impossible. You can't think properly when you are there. And when you give enough interference, like, gosh, I hate going to the department because that's causing interference. If you just lead up with because it's a bad day and I lose all afternoon, it tops out the interference below the threshold. Everybody hates going there. That's not a problem. But you start to think, I hate going there because it's weird I lose time. You're starting to really think critically. That causes a lot of interference. That interference needs to be cleared. The charge is sent, a Dunning field is generated in your brain waves are driven way down. And how well can you remember when you're dreaming? Your rememberer is turned off. Now, if you're driving, you're still fine. Have you ever driven or walked anywhere and then realized you can't remember like the last 5 or 10 minutes, or you can't remember even driving home? That happens because nothing happens in your head. It doesn't go into your memories. You weren't a zombie, it's just memories weren't formed. Same thing happens. Everything you had been thinking of, your rememberer forgets immediately, and with the rest of it, you're operating, just you can't make really critical thoughts. You can't make really good judgments. Not horrific, but you do lose that edge. Yes, sometimes people die if they're like driving or doing something like rock climbing. But on the whole, you just forget. And it's just a machine, and because of this Dunning field that goes on, that's why nobody knows this thing even exists. Because if you know, no you don't, because that Dunning field goes, it doesn't matter how strong you are. You could be the greatest adherent of Kadiron with an iron will, and you go, that and then when you wake up out of that, it's like, oh wow, I drifted off. I need to get more sleep. I wonder what I was doing. Oh well. And then you go on. Nobody knows the department exists as an existential horror They only know that you're going to have a really bad time if you go there, but it's a government building, a government department. Of course you're going to have a bad time. End of open of 24 hours worth of comments, my community tab. I hope, and I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. And if I mispronounce your username, no disrespected, but of course, no disrespect is intended. But also, I want to thank each and every one of these people here. I went and updated my list. Yay! These are good, wonderful, and pure people who are my Patreon patrons. Without my Patreon patrons, I would be hosed like a Christmas monkey. Thank you so much for helping me survive. Oh, and thank you each and every person that has ever donated to my GoFundMe or my Patreon. Without your help as well, it would be even rougher. So now, I'm going to call up my Chrome. I stim by counting in ASL. It doesn't mean a thing. Expanding my view to 150%. We have Chris, greatly appreciated, and maybe a series on the reverse bullet hell types, but not that game in particular, though it is a very, very good game. And then we have Jesse Koskinen, who, if you have access to a PC, or if you have a PC, or you can get one that'll run Unity, Daggerfall, Unity, and Daggerfall, both of them are free. Daggerfall is free on Steam. Daggerfall Unity free from the Daggerfall Unity site. And there's a million mods. You can make it into as modern a game with even modern mechanics. I use the classic game mechanics of hold down the right mouse button and swing. You don't have to. You can just hold down the left mouse button and click and it works if that's what you want to do. Thumbs up. Good game. We also have Blue Toad, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And Made in Canada. I'm going to try and show off some pictures, so hopefully you enjoy. I have some, I'm still giving a lot more stuff over to my sister-in-law, so yay. And then we have Brig Briz, thumbs up, thank you much, greatly, greatly appreciated. We have RJ Mitchell. Thumbs up. It is good to see you in the comments. And there's TUYENHOA who left a comment in Vietnamese, and then I answered back with Google Translate in Vietnamese. So thumbs up, and that is everybody who has left me comments. Greatly appreciated. There's never many anymore, but anything more than 0 is awesome. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, I got stuff I got to do today, and hopefully I can get it done. Hopefully. That would be good. But if not, I'm not going to beat myself up, because survival is important too. Hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done. And again, if you can't, that's okay. Survival is important. Past that, though, you have a great day. How do I say it? What do I say? So, until we meet again? Excuse me. Is that what I say? So, until we meet again. You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. Now, of course, after ending, I have to unend so I can re-end all that. I have to check my... I had turned on the monitor, so something showed up over there as a notification. Turned on the monitor. Yeah, nice monitor, isn't it? Turned on the controller. Yay!